Self-diagnosis. Self-diagnosis allows you to pick and choose whichever ailments you'd like with just a little help from the internet.
TikTok has ruined the way that we look at mental health today. And honestly, it's no wonder with TikToks going around like this.
Rapunzel is autistic. Let me explain how I know. My credentials are that I'm autistic and Tangled is one of my special interests and I watch it at least once a day.
TikTok over the last few years has surely just been turning mental health into some kind of weird trend. And looking at the numbers of certain TikTokers, it's easy to see why this type of behavior is addicting, with them gaining hundreds of thousands, if not millions of likes, views, and even followers, creating a massive fan base on a complete and utter lie. Sure, some of them actually do have disorders, but again, they just play up massively for the camera. TikTok is just rotting our brains at this point. So let's have a deep dive and look at some of these creators with some of the more well-known videos that have surfaced over the years and just see where TikTok went so wrong. Mental illness into a trend. But before we look at the brain rot, the best part of today's video, the comment shout out. And that goes to Meepy Doppy. Thank you for your comment. If you guys want to shout out in the next video, leave a comment down below saying, "Ablaze, I punched the bell button," and I'll pick one of you for a shout out in tomorrow's video. So first of all, I'd like to just mention how unbelievably frustrating it is for everybody online. Like, I do see the very real detrimental effects. I feel like that's why I've been quite passionate on this topic, and I understand I make quite a lot of videos on this. But you know, it also just kind of saddens me when I see people online who actually have these certain disorders go through hell and back because of certain TikTokers that have literally made this into a trend, creating dances.
You shouldn't do that. Like, what about me? What about you? Well, I have a real diagnosis, and self-diagnosing just really harms us. Okay, let me make this really clear. The doctors you seem to love and hold dear, we have more info than they learn in school, so shit don't need to be so damn clinical.
Creating Put a Finger Down.
Completely different food preferences. Put a finger down if you have system members who are ridiculously similar to each other but are still different. Put a finger down if you have system members who are a different sexuality than other system members. Put a finger down if maybe you guys have different Spotify playlists that you made for each other, music playlists. Put a finger down if you guys all wear different clothing styles and you can't agree on one outfit most of the time.
Spreading complete and utter misinformation about certain things.
The lion, the witch, and the audacity of this bitch. Right in my comments where I can see it because I've got notifications on for this post still. Inanimate, non-human, and animal alters are very common because of how the brain processes trauma. Sometimes it does it funny. Please go have a garbage attitude somewhere else.
Before anyone writes in the comments down below, I know that you can have animal alters. But common? It's common? I don't think so. Unless it being common is TikToker kids like this one who wear Wilbur the dog alts and reacts to rain for the first time.
Sniff, 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 sniff.
Yes, Wilbur. Sniff. And that is primarily the issue, is kids creating TikToks like these, making it into a big joke. Putting in tags and making it trendy. Putting on dog ears while recording yourself and then going into an editing software to quite literally edit a AI voice to say sniff sniff. I'm going to have to hit the doubt button that you actually have an animal alter. Remember, we've looked at this in the past. This is what a real animal alter looks like.
Strange hoax. Ukrainian girl, Oksana Malaya, running, jumping, eating and barking just like a dog. But this is no fraud. Oksana's behaviour is the result of the most cruel childhood neglect. Neglect that began when she was 3.
Notice there's no TikTok to be seen, and it's honestly hard to know where even to get the right information, and that alone is extremely frustrating. But them making these fun, quirky TikToks just really hurt people that actually live with these horrific disorders, as if their life isn't already bad enough. I'm sure it saddens them every time they go over to TikTok and they see someone using it to put in their tags to get a little bit of extra fame. Honestly, it's just very disgusting. Like, take this clip for example.
You.
Yes, you. The fuck was that? You think I didn't see that?
What? I just fronted to kill a fly.
You climbed up the wall and onto the ceiling like a fucking lizard. It was getting away. You killed it with fire. Okay, yeah, a bit over the top, but like I didn't do any damage to the walls or anything. You killed it with fire from your mind.
Setting up the camera and then putting on different pieces of clothing to create a drama play that all your alters take part in, for one, just simply isn't how DID works, and secondly, it makes the whole thing look like an utter joke. I always get comments now down below telling me how DID isn't real, and you know what, I gotta be honest, after seeing videos like this online, if this is the only thing that they've seen, I'm not really that surprised they're saying stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be with just DID either. Another thing as well, when I've been looking back at a lot of these videos, is I seem to come across a lot of these TikTokers making the same argument every single time, talking about being self-diagnosed and also how it's a privilege to get diagnosed, with creating TikToks talking like this.
Pay for it, right? Like every dime, penny, whatever, you're gonna pay for it, right? Because we can't afford it. You want us to get a diagnosis? That's fine. We'll do it. But you gotta pay for it. If you want us to get a diagnosis, you gotta pay for it. Oh yeah, and we're legally not able to, because for some reason you cannot get diagnosed with the disorder until the body is 18 for some stupid reason. But you want us to get a diagnosis when we can turn 18? Pay for it then. This comment is the prime example of tell me you have medical privilege without telling me you have medical privilege.
Which is crazy to say that at the end of the video, while then asking us to pay for it. Talking about privilege, then saying to us, you pay for it. Honestly, some of these jokes just kind of write themselves. But again, it's not true. Actually, in the US, you can get a diagnosis, especially if you're rendered unable to work. With honestly just a quick Google search, you can come across stuff like this. Community healthcare centers offer low cost or free care on a sliding scale to the public. Typical service include emergency services, therapy, psychiatric care for adults and for children, and you can expect to go through an intake interview that determines the kind of care you will receive. Just kind of goes to show how lazy some of these kids are, that they can't even like Google this, bro. It must be far more easier to them to go on to TikTok and blame the rest of the world for their problems instead of doing literally 10 seconds of research. But the thing is that these kids are clearly putting it on. Let's be realistic. What kind of doctor is going to want to talk to one of these kids that has a SpongeBob alter because they suffered trauma as a kid? That trauma being their parents took away their iPhone 15 Pro Max for one night. That's not trauma. But again, it gets so much worse, as that wasn't the only kid that said that. Watch this kid struggle to get his words out and ask for the same thing.
Go to a professional, you say. Are you going to be paying for the entire year of the entire year that it would take for me to get diagnosed? And then are you also going to be paying for the travel fee? I'm just saying, if you're going to ask me to pay for something, maybe you could at least get your words out first. The entitlement here is crazy. Going off of the pre-notion of, no, you pay for it, is pretty mind-boggling to me, as an argument like that doesn't even have legs to stand on and is just ridiculous, and is a perfect example of how old some of these people are. They act like kids because they are kids, and kids should not be self-diagnosing. Hell, I would like to expand that even to adults, but especially kids. Honestly, at this point, I find it is just anyone that has a TikTok account at this point who is clearly living off of this is kind of a bit of a red flag. Over the last 3 years, there has been so many ridiculous videos going viral. And the thing is that people watch it and actually believe it. Here's a good example of a TikToker talking about her headspace and how it's planned out all in her head, whatever that really means.
A headspace. A headspace is the area where our alters live when they are not fronting. For us in our system, we have a living room, which falls from like our ears forward, parietal ridge up. This would be our living room. Here to our apex, from here to our apex, we have a conference room. And then in the back, we have 2 closets. Then on the sides of the conference rooms, we have 4 bedrooms. And then on this side of our living room, we have a staircase, and going up, you have our attic. And then on this side, we have a glass, like outside of the headspace, but it's still part of our headspace. Outside, we have like a glass 360 view glass office where our narrator lives.
Damn, no cinema room. Kinda cringe. And if the misinformation isn't bad enough with TikToks like that, there's also other videos too. Look at this one right here, where this TikToker claims that apparently now smoking is considered a stim.
Would smoking cigs be stimming? When I'm in psychosis, I will fixate on the ember. Yeah, smoking in pretty much any form, cigarettes, cigars, vapes, THC, all of these things can be a form of stimming. And I would go as far as to say that they are very common ways that people will stim. Like they're saying you can visually stim with looking at the embers or watching the smoke. A lot of people I've known also like to play with lighters and watch the flame.
And we've looked into this quite recently on the channel, what stimming is. An uncontrollable motion that feels kind of nice to do as kind of a little bit of a relief. Smoking is not a stim. Despite what chronic smokers will tell you, pulling out a cigarette and lighting it and smoking the whole thing for about 2 minutes wasn't a sudden movement that accidentally happened. Oh no, I smoked the whole pack again. Gosh darn these stims, they are really getting out of control now. But it doesn't just stop there, as a lot of these TikTokers I find get extremely comfortable with the fame of making up stuff on their TikToks that they seem to start creating other disorders. And the way that they try and play these all together doesn't make any sense. For example, here we have someone who's claiming they now have Tourette's because one of their alters has Tourette's.
God. Having Tourette's is this fucking nightmare. Where the more upset you get about your tics, the worse they get. So you have to just like distract yourself and think about something else while you're like, fuck me.
Like, I've seen countless videos of this girl and she hasn't ticked in any of them. All of a sudden now she can't get through 20 seconds without ticking. I have had tics. This isn't how it works. Again, I know it's different for everyone, but this is just so far-fetched I can confidently say this is BS. With other TikTokers completely taking over the internet a few years ago when this was blowing up. With one of these creators, as I remember, stating that he could easily switch who he wanted in his body, making videos talking about it. Which honestly at this point, if you do even 5 minutes of research on DID, it doesn't work like that. I feel like unfortunately though, TikTok is such short form content, and it goes back to why would someone like to fake this online anyway? That I know a lot of people don't want to go and do the research after. And I don't really blame them. If anything, I blame the people making the videos, obviously.
This is ridiculous. Looking at the back now. Yeah, you can see the other guy? That guy's a gorilla. We won't let him in because he'll go run around and find some trees and shit. But this one over here, he's a young artist. His name's Panther. Do you want to help him? Hello. Bye-bye. There you go.
But as my guy is literally casually having lunch and seamlessly switching. Again, I've spoken to people that have DID. They tell me how it's not a very nice experience and can be quite dramatic. This guy is doing it like a pro. It makes no sense. Which honestly started this huge trend of people setting up their cameras to catch their switches online. It honestly did take the internet by storm a few years ago, which a side note, only 1% of the world actually suffers with DID, but here a few years ago it seemed like overnight everybody had it, but mainly kids, which is another red flag, being a little bit more impressionable at that younger age. So they created even more TikToks like this.
I can feel it coming on. Guess the player.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know you were filming. Hey guys, oh. Alright, I'm gonna go, sorry.
I hid for a while. I was able to hide in the chicken coop and behind Greta's skirts when people couldn't see me. But they know I'm here now, and that's okay, because everyone's really nice, and I got a baby.
Oliver, where did you get the baby from? All jokes aside, it's incredibly disgusting to see this, and it is disgusting to also see how it's taken over TikTok. Something that I do find at least a little bit funny is the fact that a lot of these people seem to get cured. Like, notice how it's not a very big trend anymore. It's not popping up nowhere near as much anymore. So a lot of these TikTokers aren't even talking about it anymore, except for the ones that actually have it. And again, I'm glad that I speak out against this because I see these people faking this type of stuff to be just as disgusting as when people fake cancer. Making it into a big joke is just kind of disgusting. Whichever the disorder happens to be. Of course, I have been called out for this countless of times now on TikTok with people making videos like these.
Hey Ablaze, I'd really like to have an open, honest conversation with you. I am very curious why you instantly believed Eva Marie. Instantly believed her. Like that she has DID. I'm not saying she doesn't, that they don't. She probably does.
Okay, cool. We're on the same page then. And also probably because she didn't alter as SpongeBob SquarePants, which it certainly helps to make it a little bit easier to believe them.
So it has come to my attention that I'm being bullied across multiple platforms. I would first off like to state that I'm 100% certain that I have a higher IQ than this musty white boy. He looks like he hasn't showered in over a year and probably smells like piss. Bro is so bitter and lonely. He really said, oh, if she were in bed with me, ew. I'm sorry you get no bitches. Don't worry, nobody's gonna be in your bed, I promise you that. This is just another cis white man that's trying to oppress and alienate an already oppressed group. Time to waste on pieces of shit like this. And buddy, if you're seeing this, wash your face, brush your teeth, jump scare. Maybe try putting on a mask or wearing a paper bag for your next YouTube video. I know your parents probably never told you this before, but I love you.
Yes, I'm the one doing the bullying, apparently. Guys, I'm not an incel. I don't hate women. My girlfriend's a woman. I only hate her sometimes.
Jump scare.
It's certainly a good response video when your only response back to the person is to take the piss out of their looks. What a very put together, well thought out argument. I think I lost that one.
But I'm 100% certain that I have a higher IQ than this musty white boy. No, I'm just recording a video. Also, at work today, I was literally like, wow, that's good ink. I was like, I wonder what it feels like. And I squirted it out on my hands, and I was like this. It stains. My coworker said it stains. Don't do it. Don't do it. But the thing is, the more she said don't do it, the more I was like, and that I have a higher IQ than was ink, right? And it looked like it would, I wanted to know what it would feel like in my hands.
But honestly, at the end of the day, I definitely still think it's totally worth creating these videos. And I just want to say thank you guys for actually watching them. I really do appreciate every single one of you. That is to everyone who even just watches, leaves a comment, leaves a like on the video, or who has been subscribed for quite a while now. I really do appreciate every one of you. I've got more exciting videos coming your way this week as well, so definitely buckle in for that. And yeah, hit the bell button. If you guys want to get notified the second I upload, as I try to reply to all the messages in the first 10 minutes, that'd be amazing. Curious to hear what you guys have to say about this. Is there something that TikTok could perhaps do? Let me know in the comments down below. With that being said, hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.